Morning. How are you? I'm greeting you. How are you? I'm okay, thanks. My name is MacDonald Netshitenje. I work in the DTI. My role here is to welcome you, in particular from the DTI perspective. So you are all welcome. And then another role is to introduce the Deputy Minister in the presidency. I will tell you who he is later. So, with those few remarks, I am recognizing the Deputy Minister, Honorable Buti Manamela. He's from Limpopo. I'm from Limpopo too. Okay, no problem. And I'm also recognizing the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee for Trade and Industry, Ms. Joan Marie Fabs. You are recognized, Chair. Thank you. My Google counterparts, Fushun, you are also welcome. Florence Masebe, it's a Limpopo affair, you know. You are also welcome. And then the Mandela Institute, you are also welcome. Is it here? Oh, okay, no problem. Okay, thanks. Flynn, you are also welcome. The list is very long, so you are all welcome. Before introducing the DM, let me just give you some introductory remarks. What is it that we're doing here? The purpose is not to lecture to you. All of you, you know what is intellectual property. You know what is copyright. You know what is performance protection. But I want to single out something that South Africa generally, we are not trendsetters. We follow our partners who have already relinquished selling the raw materials. Raw materials like what? Minerals and other things. They have already graduated to the issue of intellectual property. I used to follow the DTI trade relations negotiators, and then I was introduced to the bilateral US Commission. Everything fell. There was no agreement then, because they said, in the area of copyright, you must not touch this. So therefore, the US economy, there is a study on that, depends also heavily on copyright. Maybe 11% of the workforce of the US comes from the copyright-based industries, 11% of the workforce, and 7% contribution to the GDP, as an example. So whether there is recession or not, the copyright always goes up. So that is something to note. So we are here in South Africa to say we want not to mimic the US, but to start to talk intellectual property issues in our own terms. In our own terms. That's what we are saying. So, because it's copyright, this issue of copyright nauseated, say, the presidency sometimes. In 2009, the president called a conference in the convention center in Sandton to say, please, creative industry, tell me, why are you dying as paupers? Those who are living had to explain. Those who are dead, tough. But he said, tell me, I want to assist you. So virtually all ministries were there. Minister of Police, what are you doing in the area of fighting counterfeit goods, piracy, anti-piracy things? DTI, in the area of intellectual property, what are you doing? SARS, when the ships come from other countries, what are you doing in intercepting these issues of counterfeit goods? So all ministries had to tell their own stories. The DTI was given a mandate to deal with the legislative framework. Because of that, we appointed, the minister appointed Judge Falam. He's a retired judge in the area of law, and then he's an advisor to the minister, and then Judge Falam to lead a commission. It's a study group, but we call it a commission. So Falam came with a study group in the area of collective management to say, are you unionized? You as artists, is the distribution of the royalties that are being collected by these agencies. And then the recommendations are there. So again, we also have to write a policy around intellectual property. Now I'm emphasizing only the area of copyright and performance. So the president also appointed a task team to be led by the deputy minister within the presidency. And then that's where the minister, deputy minister, in the absence of a minister, the DM becomes a minister. So I will use it interchangeably. So the minister leads this team of deputies, a deputy minister of police, deputy minister of home affairs, trade and industry, arts and culture. All of them, they fall under his purview to push this agenda of revamping the copyright and the performance, addressing what the president has asked. So therefore, I'm addressing myself in the royal language, we are just technocrats. We are just technocrats pushing the agenda of government. But in this constellation of rights, there are competing rights. So the broadcasters would like to use it at the expense of whoever. The Google people will also want to do the same, maybe, and other companies would like to do the same. So therefore, what we are saying is that Parliament now is going to pronounce and take a decision to say, you brought this bill before us, task team of presidency, you brought this bill before us. I'm going to pronounce, but I will first listen to stakeholders. So it is no longer in our hands. It is in the hands of Parliament and the presidency. The DM will talk for himself, but probably we have the support of coming with this bill to be concluded during this year, financial year. So all in all is that the competing rights will have to be balanced. It's a balancing right. We don't want to kill the copyright industry. We don't want to kill the performers, to kill the broadcasters, to kill the other stakeholders, the publishers. No, but this is a balancing right because the right is owned by or used by several people. So therefore, if we are using it at the expense of others, this is the time to say, let's share. But the judgment will be passed by Parliament, not by us. I hope I'm pleading clemency here. And then, now I would like to introduce the minister here. He is the former Secretary General of the Youth League, and a member of the Central Committee of the SACP, the Communist Party of South Africa. He is also the member of the PEC and PWC of the ANC Limpopo. There are many acronyms here. Probably people know what this stands for. Provincial Executive Committee, PEC, Provincial Working Committee probably of the ANC. The ANC is the African National Congress of South Africa. You know that there were many ANC, Tanzania, Zimbabwe. So we are talking about this one. Thanks. So I'm still introducing the minister. He is the deputy minister in the presidency, responsible for planning, monitoring, and evaluation, and South African development. That is the issue of administration in the presidency. You know that we are no longer allowed to go to cabinet with the bills or policies without saying what is the rationale, socio-economic issues. We are no longer allowed to come with such documents without those studies. So therefore, the minister comes from that constellation, and then monitoring, planning is self-explanatory. He is the chairperson of the Presidential South Working Committee group, and is the chair of the Presidential Task Team on Creative Industry. I've already said a mouthful on that. So therefore, the DTI is only on intellectual property, but arts and culture has got a stake. Communication, cyber, cloning of our voices now that I'm talking, maybe passing fake news. Do we have inspectors there? We need to build that capacity. So creative industry goes beyond the issue of copyright. So therefore, tomorrow we may find another bill coming from another angle. But this is our bill. The minister is the head of the Presidential Task Team in the creative industry. As the president said, he said, please, as for now, can we ring fence it only to the area of, say, performers, musician, and the like. So with those few words, Minister, you are introduced. Minister, you are introduced. I will walk out. People think I'm a minister. Here's the minister.